In half an hour, Public Eye investigates the divisions within the establishment church as it prepares to elect a new Archbishop of Canterbury and identify some of the pressures facing Dr. Robert Runce's successor. This is BBC2 North. Now, Eamonn Holmes introduces the weekly roundup of Northwest sporting activity, Sportsround.
Liverpool are league champions. We report on the new breed of multinational footballer which has helped bring the title back to Anfield. We'll be asking why so few sportsmen and women from the region's ethnic communities have made it big in sport. Cone Dynamo's amazing charge up the football pyramid has been halted. Which way now for the little club with big ideas? And it's your last chance to vote for the star of the season. You'll decide who'll collect this trophy next week. Hello there, good evening from Denis and me. Welcome to another Sports Round. Now, regular viewers, cast your mind back to last week. Do you remember the lawman putting a fiver on Wigan in the Silk Cup Challenge Cup final, saying that Oldham, regretfully, would probably leave Wembley empty-handed? And right from the start of the season, you did predict, did you not, that Liverpool would win the championship?
Well, when you've got a bet against a producer who thinks he knows a lot about sport, it wasn't really very clever to predict those. I mean, Liverpool the best team, and they're going to win the league. And if you did watch the rugby last week, wasn't that marvellous? My team, Wigan, slaughtered them. Slaughtered them.
Final. You should take this up professionally, you know, this predicting. Dennis and the crystal ball. Well, there you go. Well, congratulations from all of us to Wigan, of course, and to Kenny Dalglish and the lads. A record 18th title. And what's been particularly interesting about this Liverpool season is the way two overseas players have been recruited and blended into the team without any of the usual Liverpool settling-in process, and have both played major parts in the club's success. But has it really been that easy for Glenn Hussein and Ronnie Rosenthal? Well, here's Peter Stevenson.
Home for the newest member of Liverpool's championship-winning squad is a city centre hotel. Ronnie Rosenthal is having to adjust to not only hitting the headlines, but leading life from a suitcase. Forget 1992, the era of the mobile soccer star is well underway across Europe. These days, you don't just move clubs, you switch countries too. Rosenthal, a 26-year-old Israeli, made a sudden entry into Liverpool's first team after arriving 6 weeks ago. His impact was equally swift. He scored 5 goals to help push Kenny Dalglish's team to their 18th league title. His scoring pedigree is particularly renowned in Belgium, where he's played for Bruges as well as Standard Liège. He soon felt at home here.
I think that everybody is very friendly in the club, the players, the staff, the direction, of course the supporters as well. They make me a very good feeling. Of course, it's a great feeling to win the championship with Liverpool.
Rosenthal, who followed compatriot Avi Cohen to Liverpool, finds his game suited to the champion's style. He'd like to stay, but there's now intense speculation over whether his transfer to Merseyside will become permanent. He should know after this weekend whether he'll again be searching for a new hotel. But there's no such problem for central defender Glenn Hussein. He's happily settled on Merseyside with his wife Elena and son Alexander. 12 months back, he signed a 3-year contract at Anfield, his latest port of call. His previous clubs have been in Holland, Sweden and Italy.
Well, if I compare with my what I played before in Italy, in Italy we had an apartment, and here we have a nice house and a big garden. And I have a son 3 years old, and he can just go out and do whatever he wants. And like I said, the language is a very good, very big benefit. We stayed in a hotel for 12 weeks in Liverpool. But, I mean, as long as you're alone, it's no problem, I think. I mean, everybody's giving you your food, they wash your clothes in the hotel and all that, it's no problem. But if you got a family, and you're 3 people or 4 people in a hotel, after 2 weeks you climb on the walls and it's not too nice.
When you add the Danish, Scottish, Irish, Welsh and Zimbabwean elements of Liverpool's squad, it has a real cosmopolitan feel, a tribute to their transfer know-how at home or abroad. After tomorrow's final match at Coventry, Hussein will soon report for duty as Sweden's World Cup skipper. There can be no greater stage for hundreds of foreign footballers to display their talent. The Italian tournament could well alert more English clubs to the new breed of player, whose sights these days are set over a whole continent.
Yeah, well, I suppose, Denis, from your point of view, you were one of the early pioneers of border-hopping players. Scotland, England, out to Italy, back to England again and whatever. How important is the domestic situation when you listen to what Glenn had to say there?
Well, it's very, I mean, the biggest barrier really is the language barrier. And of course, when I went to Italy, I didn't speak any Italian. I mean, I learned quite a bit as I was there, but that is a big barrier. Now, you know yourself that most Europeans who come to Britain, they speak the language. I mean, they speak English. So that is a lovely little start, isn't it? And of course, the problem also in Italy when we were there, you're in the mountains, like Ian Rush was. I mean, you're in the mountains 4 days of the week. They take you away. So if you were married there, your wife would be left on her own. So it's very difficult in Italy for anybody, any foreigner to settle down, particularly if you're British.
Yeah.
But coming to this country, it's far, far easier.
So when you look at the Mark Hughes, Ian Rush experiences, you actually think then for the Continentals, it's an easier process than it is for us?
Plus the fact in the early days as well, of course, nobody did any travelling, did they? I mean, most people now travel into Europe, but with Rush and Hughes, that is a problem for them. They're not used to it, and it's something completely different to them. So for them, it's very difficult to settle down. Easier coming the other way.
What about Liverpool and the 18th championship? Hats off to them. I mean, it looked as though, you know, Kenny and the boys really wanted this one after what happened last year.
Well, when you think of the cups, I mean, it's not always the best team that wins any cup. I mean, you know, the bit of luck, etc. But invariably, the best team always wins the league. And we've said from the very beginning that Liverpool, they won the league, they have been the best team.
Yeah, well, tomorrow is the last full day of the Football League season, and for 7 Northwest clubs with promotion and relegation on their minds, it is the day of reckoning. Let's just take a look at the situation, beginning with the second division here. Blackburn Rovers only need to draw with Brighton. They're at Ewood Park to go into the second division playoffs. Oldham must win away to Sunderland, and even then, they need Swindon or Blackburn to lose to keep them in the hunt there. In Division 3, Bolton Wanderers will join Tranmere and Bury in the third division playoffs if they get a draw at Swansea. Wigan Athletic should be safe. A point will make sure there. Preston will end all worries if they win at Shrewsbury. In the fourth, a complex situation, but basically a draw for Stockport will see them into the playoffs. And it's the same for Carlisle. There'll be some tension in that one, which is at Maidstone. So, Denis, what's your view there, looking at that situation?
Well, Blackburn again, I mean, they've always threatened, haven't they? Last year they did so well and didn't get up into the first division. This year I think they will get that result and go into the playoffs. Oldham, again, you feel that they've done so well, but they've had so many games. I think they might lose out. And I think Bolton they alone will get in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, so good news for Don McCann, for Phil Neal there, but with 63 games behind them, a bit too much maybe for Oldham.
Yes, I think
Right.
so. But also, isn't it lovely for the Northwest to have so many teams involved?
Incredible.
Because the playoffs have been lovely,
Yeah,
really.
but what does that say about the playoffs? I mean, for this stage of the season, so much spectator interest, and incidentally, the league are asking if you're going to a playoff match tomorrow, get there early because of the crowds that are expected to turn up, especially in the good weather. What does that say about the playoff system? Have they now proven themselves?
Oh, I think so, yeah, and it's been lovely. As you say, the crowds have come back, and it's the fact that, you know, even if you land, say, 6th in the league, you've got a chance of coming up to that division higher.
Yeah.
And, of course, this time as well, with the playoffs being at Wembley, that's an added bonus. So, really, the playoffs have been a tremendous success.
Well, incredibly, and normally when a team wins a league championship, it's cause for celebration, of course, but the players and staff of Cone Dynamos don't feel like celebrating anything tonight, even though they've won the HFS Loans League with a record points total. Now, normally that would guarantee Cone a place in the GM Conference, and that's just one step away from automatic promotion to the Football League itself. Now, Cone have swept aside all opposition in what's been a devastating march through the non-league world, but today they've been stopped dead in their tracks, as Charles Lambert explains.
It was at Wembley Stadium in 1988 that Cone Dynamos tasted their sweetest moment. But victory over Emley in the FA Vase was far from the end of the story for the little club with big ideas. The Cone chairman, Graham White, a wealthy man thanks to success in the building trade and property market, committed huge sums of money, turning Cone into non-league's first full-time club, with the aim of winning right through to the Football League. There's been no problem winning matches, but Cone's Holdhouse ground isn't up to GM Vauxhall Conference standards. And having failed to do a ground-sharing deal with neighbours Burnley or Blackburn, Cone are left with nowhere to go, and their spectacular progress brought to a standstill.
Well, that's sad, isn't it? But does that mean, Denis, success is relative? Basically, if you want to play like with the big boys, you've got to be like the big boys.
Yes, it is a shame really, because Graham White and Cone Dynamos have done marvellous stuff over the last 2 or 3 years, and you can't really blame the league for taking this step and view, in fact, of the Heysel disaster and of course the problem at Hillsborough. Yeah. You've got to make sure that the stadiums are safe, because if they go up to the higher division, the crowd would certainly, probably double, but they would certainly go up. So you've got to have a stadium that's safe. And just unfortunate for them, it isn't that standard.
Okay, I hope they sort it out in some way. Still to come tonight on the programme, our special report on why people from the ethnic communities are failing to make it big in Northwest sport. But now, though, some of the region's sports news this Friday evening. Now, an amazing day's cricket at the Oval with Lancashire on the receiving end. Surrey amassed 707 for 9 before declaring. Their captain, Ian Gregg, contributed 291 of those. Lancashire were 179 for 1 at the close. Derbyshire have done rather better, wrapping up an innings victory in just 2 days. Ian Bishop took 4 wickets for 25 in Northant's second innings when 3 batsmen were absent injured. Jed Byrne of Wigan, who missed the Challenge Cup final last week, returns to the team for the Premiership semi-final against Bradford Northern on Sunday. He replaces the injured Sean Edwards. Martin Offiah has regained fitness in time to replace the injured John Devereux in the Widnes team away to Leeds. Oldham are home to Rydal York in the second division semi-finals. Young